Hi there, Vicki here again with another Snap and I Heart Summer video. I did want to share with you before I start using them all of the element sheets that I showed you in the first video. This is all of them cut up, so all of the little 3x4s have been separated, all the 4x6s have been cut, okay? The 4x4s with the 6x8 mats. The little title strips are cut apart. We're going to be using those today. That's why I wanted to show you these before I start using them. So I'm actually taking those 3 out right now. Okay, and that's the rest of them. And then the 4x12, or pardon me, 6x12s cut in half. And that's just a scrap. So I wanted to show you those before I get started, the pages cut apart, because this is what we're going to be using to build this album. It's a big chunk of it anyway. So let's get started. So like I said, I have these 3. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with them in a bit. But for today, we're going to be decorating the little inserts, the little chipboard inserts for the book. So these are tabbed chipboard inserts, and you'll see I already started 2 of those to speed up and left the one that hasn't been altered. And I'm going to show you how I did this, and we're going to decorate at least one of these pages, and we'll see how time goes. I might decorate all 3 or show you them finished in the next video. But let's get started. We are going to, you'll notice with the first 2 boards, pardon me, I can't talk today. The chipboard pages that they're inked. I used for the orange one, Spice Marmalade, and for the green one, Shabby Shutter's Distress Ink. Okay, just so you know what colors are for those 2. We'll get those out of the way and we'll get started on this one. What you're going to need with this one is some scrap paper, or what I call scratch paper, as my stuff all falls on the floor. Just so when we ink it, you don't ink your background. So I just took some sheets of printer paper. And then you are going to want to take it and mask one underneath and put one on top. If I could find my ruler, I would tell you what the measurement is, but to cheat, I will put it in. You'll see it on the bottom of the screen. I believe it's about 1.5 inches. But that's the border we're going to use, and that one looks like it's pretty lined up. Okay, so all we need to do now is just straighten it. I apologize for the shadows, but I want to get this video, because I know you guys have been waiting, done. But all we're going to do is just line this up as a mask, and then take some fired brick Distress Ink, and we're going to, let's double check that one. So that one is worn lipstick. So just give me a second and I'm going to grab another one. That's what happens when your lids don't go on the right one. So just a second. Okay, I'm back with some fired brick. I know that that's fired brick for sure, which will be much more useful. We're just going to take a ink blending tool, and in circular motions you're going to add the ink. When you have your Distress Ink, I find the ink blending tool, they go hand in hand. You can't get the control that I can with this ink without having the tool, okay? So I'm just going to ink up the front and the back, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. So I just want to give you a little peek of what a nice sharp edge that leaves just with a piece of printer paper. And the other tip with Distress Ink is you want to go about 2 shades darker or so while it's wet, while the ink's wet, because it will dry quite a bit lighter. So I'm going to actually dry this with a heat gun and bring it back to show you what the coloring or the light, the color of the red's going to look like once it's dry, because then we're going to do another step. So we still need to ink the other side, so you can do that as well. So all I did when you go to ink the other side is flip it and take your mask and just check it on the other side to line it up and ink that side, okay? So I'll be right back. I'm going to show you what this red looks like when it's dried a little before we go on to the next step. So here's the page with the ink dried. I don't know if you can tell, but it goes quite a bit lighter once the moisture is out of the ink and just the colors left behind, or the pigment. So that gives you an idea of the first step. We masked, and you see the nice clean line that the printer paper left just by putting it on the edge. Just make sure when you're rubbing your ink you don't rub underneath that like I did here, because I make mistakes, but we're going to be covering that up anyway. But that just shows you if you wanted to leave it like this you could, but we're not going to do that, of course. Did you notice on the other pages the little hearts? So what I did there is again used one of the die cut pieces to mask and add tone on tone hearts. Now the key with this is to make sure your bottom layer of ink is dry. If the ink isn't dry and you're adding wet ink on wet ink, you won't get the depth of color that you will if you let the bottom layer dry or speed it up with a heat gun, and then add the mask and you can put your color on. So when I put the mask on, I just put it slightly off the edge, and again took my fired brick for this one, so the same shade, and let's use the other side so you see, okay? If you're using the mask repeatedly, just make sure you let it dry or dry it with a heat gun so that you aren't getting the ink from the other pages bleeding in on your new color. So I'm going to use my cheat sheet again there, my little scrap sheet, and I'm going to go in the middle for this one. And when you want to do these ones, when you go to do these ones, just press the color in and build it up so you have a nice dark, oops, if you do that, just find your spot again, line it up. It's very forgiving because you're doing tone on tone, so if it shifts a little on you and you get a little shadow effect, just embrace it. But that's all you're going to do here. So now you see the little heart finish. When these dry, they're going to go quite a bit lighter, but that's okay. You just want it to be a background, and you have your 3 pages finished, okay? So that will give you one with an orange that matches the I Heart Summer line. See my boo-boos? And then you have the green and the red. So once you get those done, then I took, again, those 2x12 strips from the element pages, the title element pages, and we're going to decide what we like to go as a border next to that. And I'm going to go with that for that one. And I like this one for here, and then that one, and we'll decide where to cut it out for the red. So once you have those, the other thing I picked were a couple of the sheets from the I Heart Summer snap cards. So this again has a whole bunch of different images. I love them. So you have full 4x6s, which we're going to use when we start filling the pages or the page protectors in the album. And then you also have a selection, double-sided again, of the smaller 3x, I guess these would be 2x3s. Okay, so as I'm running away from the sun, I'm back again. We'll see how much we can get done today. I might have to come back and continue filming tomorrow, but that gives you an idea now with the strip and the card, the 4x6 piece down on the side here. And now, with this being I Heart Summer, I thought, now what's a great way to separate this book into sections, and how about by month? So with this being the last page out of the 3, I'm going to use some of the I Heart Summer expression cardstock stickers, and I'm going to add August down the side here. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, so the cardstock stickers are added, and now all we need to do is some embellishing. So I like to use embellishments that are cheap and cheerful. So that would be buttons, and as you know, rhinestones. So I grabbed a bunch of buttons here, in colors that coordinate with this kit or this collection, the I Heart Summer. So we're going to attach those with some glue dots, and I thought it would be cool to put some on the other side of the numbers. So I have some glue dots here. Okay, so let's just grab those, and I'm going to, again, like I've done, speed through this, okay? So the buttons are attached, and I like to use, as you saw, the glue dots. These are Scrapbook Adhesives 3 by 3L, and this is what I like to use, the Dodz. These ones are the small, so they are about 1/4 inch, and they're perfect because you don't have to wait like a traditional wet adhesive. You don't have to wait for it to dry, so that's perfect, especially in a mini book, that these aren't going to go anywhere. So I attach those. And now I just want to finish off a little bit on the front. I still have lots of stickers. We use the Expressions cardstock stickers from the I Heart Summer line for the title. So there's lots of choices of little subtitles here. And we have these as well. These are the fundamental stickers. This is all in the paper pack. If you get the collection set of I Heart Summer, you get both stickers in there. So I think I'm going to use one of these arrows by the August. So let's grab, I think, the orange one. I'll use the orange one. Okay. And then just put it underneath. Kind of finishes that off. Okay. And then we're going to grab some rhinestones and just put them on the arrow. Like I said before, I'm keeping this mini album, or this snap album, rather simple. I want you to see how easy the whole snap system is. We can make it a little bit more complicated in the next project I do, maybe with one of the Christmas lines when it comes out, we can do a Christmas album. But for this one, look how quick that was. We just used the 2x12 strips, the 4x6 little photo mats, some stickers, and then to show you what I did on the back, I used a piece of what was left of the 2x12, cut a little banner or a little V out of it to make a banner sticker, and to finish that off, again, we'll just throw some stickers on it. So we'll just throw that on there to finish it off. You could add, if you wanted to, some more embellishment. We can decide later, but that gives you kind of a basic idea with those pages. And I have the other two finished as well. So there's the June one. I'm leaving the today blank until I start adding some photos, and I can personalize it once the photos are in there. But you see I added some buttons and some rhinestones. And then again, the back, just some stickers. But see how nice and crisp that line is? And that was easy, just with a little distress ink. And then we have the July one, a couple of buttons, the arrow and the rhinestones. And again, the other piece of the 2x12 border. And then I put beach on there. Like I said, these aren't necessarily finished, but it's a good place to start. And then the August one. So that's it for today. That gives you an idea of something to do with your chipboard inserts. And I like how this will split it up between the 3 months of summer. So for our little I Heart Summer album, it'll be perfect. And up next, in the next video, I'm going to work on filling the insert pages. So I cut up all those element pieces, and that's going to be the next part. So join me back for the next video, and I'll show you how we can start assembling the album. Okay, great. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you soon.